forth in this moment in time so we can reach the most people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We do a little prayer before we start our day off because sometimes we just need to do that. So, welcome to the Nurse Mark and the Green Nurse Daily Dose of AFA, where we are here with Green Nurse Carey Lee. We're bringing you hope and inspiration for growth and healing so you can start your day off the AFA way. Welcome back, Carey Lee. I just want to say, so happy to have you here today. Seriously, you are a bright, shining light in my life.
Aw, and you and mine, love. You and mine. Oh my gosh.
God. So how are we thriving today? So just for our new viewers, because just listen, Carey Lee, there's a lot of people that just tune in every now and then. There's a lot of new people and they don't know who you are. So I want you to shine your light on the world while I try to figure this out. And just introduce yourself.
Well, good morning, everybody. So my name is Carey Lee. I am a registered nurse. I am also Green Nurse and AFA. And so I am actually Green Nurse Iowa, one of the Green Nurses here on the ground in Iowa. I connect patients to Iowa's medical cannabidiol program. I provide one-on-one coaching and education specifically on the endocannabinoid system and how that pertains to one's specific ailment or illness. And I'm also really kind of like an emotional health coach on some levels. I really try to help take people out of their survival zone and get them into their thrive zone. Yeah. So yeah,
that's it. That's
I'm sticking to it, honey. Woo.
It's a great story. You really have done some wonderful things in the community. You know, just to like, I just can't say enough about you. You are,
girl. I've learned from the best.
You go. Check. My Carey Lee gets a big
checklist, baby. Yes, get it done.
Exactly. So today is Motivational Monday, and we generally start the day off with an AFA quote from Nurse Mark. AFA, absolutely.
Woohoo! We love you, Nurse Mark and Nurse Jamie.
Yes. So while Nurse Mark and Nurse Jamie tour Europe, what we're going to do is we're going to bring you some hope and inspiration for growth and healing. And what we're going to do is we're going to start our day off with a daily love from Carey Lee. And sometimes it's affirmations, it's a reading, or it's a pulling of a card. So what are we doing today, Carey Lee?
Well, today we are working with, it's not an oracle deck, it's actually a deck by Dr. Orloff. I just love her so much. You guys are going to think I'm like an Orloff, fanatic. I kind of am. Anyhow, the power of surrender cards. And so the thing that I really love about this deck is that it's really about reprogramming your subconscious, kind of like kicking out those negative core beliefs, those negative story loops, and replacing them with positive, healthy things. So what are we surrendering to today? Let's just take a moment and think on that while I am shuffling these cards. I love it because, you pull the card in the morning and it's like, you read the message. It may not resonate with you right off the bat, but I guarantee throughout the day, going into your nighttime routine, eventually it will. It's just kind of like one of those aha moments. So
okay, so quick question. Right. So right now I need to think about what I want to surrender to, right? Like what,
or just that. What are you open? What are you open to? You're open to surrendering anything.
That's it. Okay, here it is. That's the question.
Okay, here we go.
I open to surrendering?
All right, I'm going to split this in three. Which card off the top, off of three piles do you want?
Okay, this is for the entire community, for anyone that's watching. So, two.
Yeah. I love two. Whoa, this is a good one. Oh, I just got goosies. Woo-hoo. Okay,
tell me.
Surrender to trust. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Well, here's the thing, what I love. Okay, here's a really cool thing about this. So trust in yourself and the decisions, don't be swayed. So oftentimes, I remember in past relationships, I'd ask for opinions for someone. And I love asking for opinions. I just like to see multiple different perspectives and then to make the decision, to go in, you process the information, you marry, brain, heart, to intuition, and then you make a decision. So oftentimes, which is funny, is that when I ask people for this is in just relationships, past relationships with men, and I've asked them for their opinion, and if I didn't take their opinion, they'd get mad. Right. So anyway, so it's all about, like it is, it's all about trusting yourself. You can ask for other people's opinion, but let your core decision come from, your inner self. Does that
Oh my
sound
gosh.
about right?
It really, you know what, I that's exactly what I take from it as well, is, and I'm guilty of it, as I'm sure so many are. You just, like, you hear the opinions of those that you love and your friends and your family, and it almost kind of like clouds your own mind to the point where you silence your own inner voice. And
There
I
you
think that's what
go.
it really means to me, is to really just be still and be quiet,
Mm,
and go inward and listen and trust. Like,
yeah.
you are your most biggest advocate, and you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
love
Oh
these
yeah.
cards. It's
Yeah.
okay to
Those are
trust
really
your
good.
intuition, you know what I mean? And trust yourself and what you're
Exactly.
doing. And how many times, I don't know about you, but how many times for me, I'll be like going down a certain path. I can't explain why I'm doing this that way, but I just know it's the right thing. And people are like, "You're
Yes.
absolutely nuts." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I
Yeah. Well,
am."
here it is you're getting the inspiration, right, to do something. And when
Yeah.
it feels good, so think about it. You get the inspiration, spirit comes in. You start to process it cognitively in your brain, and then you have a feeling about it, right? So you think about, you're marrying all those different sensations in your body to make the appropriate decision. And when it feels
Yeah,
right, it feels right. And here's the thing.
absolutely.
Here it is. This is a good one too that I've learned from a lot of my spiritual mentors out there. It's really, there's no right or wrong, right, at the most important time. So if you go off your path, it's it. It's just for a moment for you to learn something, right, and to get back on track.
Absolutely.
Just trust me.
Absolutely.
I've made a lot of mistakes, but you know what? It's all good.
It's
Thank
like, we're
God for
like, this
cannabis.
isn't our first rodeo, everybody, and it's not going to be our last.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. I love that, Carey Lee. So, what we're going to get into today, usually every Monday for our new viewers, is it's Motivational Monday. And we like to talk about what motivates us as cannabis nurses. Why do we show up every day, to educate, to empower, to advocate, to be an activist in this? And the reason why we do this is because this plant has made a significant difference in our lives and the lives of loved ones and of those patients that we so happen to work with. However, the real reason behind the light of the fire is that the National Council State Boards of Nursing put out guidelines in the Journal of Nursing Regulations in 2018 in regards to medical cannabis. The National Council State Boards of Nursing has identified 6 essential areas of knowledge about cannabis for all nurses, nursing students, and advanced practice nurses. So, Carey Lee, what I want to do is I want to review all 6 of them, and then we're going to focus on one. So I'm going to let
Okay.
you go down and just read them.
Sure, sure. So, number one, the nurse shall have a working knowledge of the current state of legalization of medical and recreational cannabis use. Number two, the nurse shall have working knowledge of the jurisdiction's medical program.
Mhm.
Number three, the nurse shall have an understanding of the endocannabinoid system, cannabinoid receptors, cannabinoids, and the interaction between them. Number four, the nurse shall have an understanding of cannabis pharmacology and the research associated with the medical use of cannabis.
Mhm.
Number five, the nurse shall be a. I can't speak. Sure.
Sure. That's technique too.
Number five, the nurse shall be able to identify the safety considerations for patient use of cannabis. And number six, the nurse shall approach the patient without judgment regarding a patient's choice of treatment or preferences in managing pain and other distressing symptoms. So you put together a pretty powerful presentation for last year's ACNA conference. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I thought you'd never ask. No, well, here's the thing is, through, through traditional nursing. So I'm not only a nurse or a provider, but I'm also a patient. And this plant, as I started to evolve in the cannabis space, manage my own chronic health challenges and start to work with patients, I was thinking to myself, why and how is this different than traditional care? Why and how is cannabis nursing looking at things from different perspectives as opposed to, the traditional? Like in traditional care, we focus on body parts, we focus on symptom management, we focus on pharmaceuticals, we focus on disease processes. Sometimes, if we're lucky, we get to mental, emotional health, but rarely do we ever get to spiritual health. And so the theme of the presentation last year at the American Cannabis Nurses Association conference was spirituality. I wanted people to consider spirituality is the root of cannabis care. So what we're really doing as cannabis nurses is we're bringing in the spirit of plant medicine to our patients and educating them on all the various ways that it can help decrease suffering and improve quality of life. So we think about bio, psycho, social, spiritual. So from my own perspective, and I've kind of, through the years of working with as many patients as we have, I would ask them, what was, how did cannabis, what was it? What was the click that made you get it? And basically everyone said hope, that spiritual connection that we had. Without saying spiritual connection, they said, wow, listening to your story, listening to other people's stories, listening to the anecdotal, it brought me hope. And when we have that hope, it's a spiritual connection. It brings about radiant compassion. People feel that. And then the empathy that we have, or that feeling and desire for something to happen. So that hope. And then what happens is when we have hope, we get filled with spirit, right? That mental, emotional connection that allows us to be stimulated to do something different. Being inspired is being in spirit. And then growth, right? How cool is this?
I love that.
Growing in health, mind, body, and spirit, transforming self-development, personal development, self-guided improvement, and self-help. And then finally, healing. The process of healing or of making whole and sound again, restoring to sound health. And that's subjective for each patient. So that an acronym HIGH that we talk about, come get high with us, is really, really about spiritual connections, about bringing the plant medicine spirit into our lives and sharing it with others. So H is for hope, I is for inspiration, G is for growth, and H is for healing. So what we're going to talk about today, just a little bit more in detail, is the 6th National Council State Boards of Nursing, which says the nurse shall approach the patient without judgment regarding their preferred treatment. So when we break that down just a little bit, we're judging machines. We're constantly judging people, places, and things. And a judgment is to make a decision or form an opinion. So the mind is a judging machine, right? It's either judges something as good, bad, or neutral, right? You're either really excited about something, you're not excited at all, it's, negative feeling, or you're just kind of like, whatever, right? So when we think about judgment, that. So their judgment actually doesn't stem from spirit, right? And there's really no room for judgment when caring for patients. So literally when we think about nursing and nursing care, the essence of nursing is human caring for the entire human experience.
Yes. I love that. So the past few weeks, you and Mark have been discussing Gene Watson's theory on human caring, which incorporates the 3 other theories, humanistic psychology, Eastern philosophy, and transpersonal psychology. So,
and where we learned about Gene Watson is interesting. I learned about Gene Watson from Dr. Carey Clark, the past president of the American Cannabis Nurses Association. She wrote a book called Clark's Cannabis, a handbook for nurses. It's the first nursing textbook that's been published on cannabis nursing. And guess what? Yours truly wrote a chapter with the other green nurses. So our chapter was the cannabis.
So our chapter. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Well, there's another book coming. We're extending on that theory. We'll talk about that later. But the part that I really liked about Watson's theory of human caring, and Gene Watson developed it, and Carey Clark explained it a lot in her chapter. But Watson describes a transpersonal nurse as one who has the ability to center consciousness, intention on caring, healing, and wholeness rather than disease, illness, or pathology. It focuses on helping patients achieve a more complete sense of harmony with mind, body, and spirit using these caring interactions. So I call it transpersonal nursing. You know, you're transcending, you're connecting with the heart, you're connecting, you're holding space for these patients without judgment, and you're in their presence to hear what they have to say and to guide them down an educational path to make decisions that are best for them. So Jean Watson's theory of human caring, she developed these 10 courageous processes. And we're going to cover each of the ones throughout the next couple of weeks. What we've been doing, I think Mark and I have done 6 of them so far. So we will cover, we'll just review them really quickly like we did the National Council State Boards of Nursing, and then we'll focus on the 7th process. We'll just go back and forth, Carey. What do you think?
Sure. Sounds like a plan.
All right. So the first courageous process by Jean Watson's human caring theory states, practice loving kindness and compassion towards yourself and others when working with patients. All right.
And
number 2.
The second one, remain authentically present, honoring our own inner life and that of others.
The third courageous process, remain sensitive to self and others by cultivating our own spiritual practices to move beyond the judging self into higher levels of consciousness for healing.
And the fourth courageous process, developing and sustaining a helping, trusting, and authentic caring relationships.
Yeah. And then the fifth courageous process is creating a healing environment on all levels. By being the healing environment, we become the place of healing.
Oh, I love that. And the sixth courageous process states to remain present and supportive to both positive and negative expressions of feelings.
There we go. That's awesome. Now, let me just see who's here. Awesome. Nurse Mark says hello to everyone. So what I'm going to do, let's do this.
Nurse Mark.
All right, so let's look through. So good morning, everyone. So we have Ashley, Bloom Ashley, Marissa, Laura Johnson, Shelly Brewer. Welcome, welcome. We have a Facebook user.
Good morning, everybody.
Thank you guys for joining us. This is just real fun. We love doing this. We love to shine light, to shine that light. So let's get back to, here we go. So seven heaven. So the 7th courageous process, as described by Jean Watson, she states to remain in a transpersonal teaching and learning within the context of a caring relationship, staying within others' frame of reference, right? So it's kind of remaining connected, remaining in that teaching space while you're not lecturing, but you're teaching and educating in a way to reach patients, meeting them on their level within the context of a caring relationships, which may mean that they may not understand everything. So we're staying within the space of where they are in that point in time without trying to convince them of anything. It's really just about presenting the information, asking questions, presenting the information, asking questions. And it's kind of like the, you know how they have those decision trees, right? It's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
So how else do we do that, Carey?
I mean, I know when I'm approaching, a patient, the first question that I ask is, what are your health goals? Yeah. What are you trying to accomplish here? Because I could really start from that point. It's like a really great starting point. I'm hearing from them what they really want to do. And, it's really just, you could really just kick back and let them speak for the most part. And they're really going to be able to tell you what they want. So,
yes. And that's exactly it. We ask patients directly, what's important to you? How do you want to live your life? And how do we get there? We're here to take you on a journey. We're here to hold your hand until you're ready to let go.
Absolutely.
So it's that motivational interviewing, the coaching. And then the other thing too, is when we provide teaching tools, we need to understand that everyone learns differently. So it's about providing teaching tools that are appropriate for each patient, whether it be handouts, video, experiential learning, which is one of my favorite, right? You have that experience, you're able to ground that into your body and then make a decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
What
really
else
good
do we
stuff.
have going on? So here it is too. So unbiased education. That's another one, right? I'm not going to lie. I'm biased. I'll just admit
I
it.
am too. You know what I mean?
From
The rooftops. I love cannabis. It's a wonderful,
too.
beautiful thing.
I'm like, thank God for cannabis. Thank God for cannabis. So but here's the thing, as a nurse, because we've seen the power of the plant, not only in our own lives, in our loved ones' lives, and in the patients we care for, it's kind of hard to not be biased. And it's kind of hard to not be biased, especially when you go down the rabbit hole of learning about the endocannabinoid system. So the way that we can provide unbiased education is to share anecdotal stories, of course, is one way, other people's experiences, because that's their truth with a capital T. And then also through substantiation research for the substantiation files, substantiation resources, things that have actually been clinically proven. So that's why we talk about Canakey. So each of the different topics that we talk about, oftentimes we talk about, the stories behind it, what people think, what's happening, but then hone in on what the difference may be and what the research is today, because research is completely 100% evolving.
And I'd like to plug Canakey's. Is just an absolutely invaluable resource of information. It's so lovely to be able to assess a client's diagnosis and search. Use that Canakey's to search by medical condition, and it's bringing up all of the research, and to be able to break that down for our client and even share with them some of those articles, and even educate them on sharing that with their medical providers so that we can, spread the word. Plant medicine is awesome. There's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, that's, it's just really great. Or even teaching patients, what is a credible resource. I know there's a lot of hoopla out there in our healthcare community. They don't want patients doing all this Dr. Google searching, but it's inevitable. You know what I mean? Information's at our fingertips. So why don't we just take it a step further and teach our patients how to find credible information, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Empower them. That's what it's really all about.
And so you think about that. So what is the next step for you all to be empowered and to learn? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's time for you all to join the Green Nurse Holistic Caring Community.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So there's a little link right down there, okay, that y'all can join. It's free. It's bringing together, the reason why it's just a little bit different. The Green Nurses, I'm just going to share the story. So when I started the Green Nurse, I started from my bed. Seriously. Sick, suffering, debilitated nurse. I figured out how to make cannabis work for me. So I wanted to build something. I wanted to help people. I felt compelled. I felt inspired. It brought me hope. It brought me the hope that I could be a nurse again. You know what I mean? And make a difference and make an impact. So as I started doing this, I was doing it from my home. I never really had an office, right away. So it was from my home. I used to go to dispensaries. I used to go to patients' houses. So when the Green Nurse was evolving, we did work from our homes. We did go to home care visits as a cannabis nurse. How fun is that? But never really having a space. So the part that's, a physical space is one thing, but also a community. So we have the American Cannabis Nurses Association, which I love. We have the Cannabis Nurses Network, which I love. I'm involved with all of them. But then what I truly found was the holistic caring community. And all of the Green Nurses are joining that community because it's not just for nurses. It's for patients, it's for providers, it's for all people around the globe who are interested in learning about cannabis as medicine, about how to apply it safely into their lives, about how to have a canna-well life. So when we talk about cannabinoids and ingesting them, it acts as medicine when it hits our bodies, but there's different reasons why people use it. And so we really want to decrease stigma around that. So this community is a great place. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have massage therapists, we have acupuncturists, we have researchers, we have lab tech. There's so many different people from all over the globe are joining. So I'm plugging the community. I really want you all to come and join us. It's off of social media. And the reason why that is good is because it's uncensored. Nothing's going to get blocked, deleted, or taken down unless it's absolutely ridiculous, but we're moderators. so,
I mean, Sherry, my account was put on like a warning yesterday for me sharing a Rage Against the Machine song to my Facebook stories from Spotify. And I was just like, whoa.
Wait a minute.
mean, really?
A song from Spotify.
A song from Spotify from the band Rage Against the Machine. And I shared it from Spotify to my Facebook stories. And yeah, next thing I know, I've got screenshots. I'm like, I can't believe that they're gonna censor me over a freaking song, for God's sakes. Give me a break.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
I know. And so education is of the utmost importance. People being censored for music, for speaking. I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So
there's also for holistic caring. There's also in a complimentary introduction to cannabis. I think that's pretty cool.
I think it's really cool.
It gives somebody an opportunity to take the program for a little test spin, kind of see what it's all about. So
yeah. And that's the part that's cool too. So the community's free, the introductory program's free, the information in the community is free. We have a section on energy healing, a section on history, a section on resources, a section on research, a section on our podcast and the different events. So we're putting up the different events and the recording. So it's your one place to go where you can, really connect with people from all over the globe, providers from all over the globe, ask questions and interact. And then there's
different
also
types of specialties and people from all walks of life, wellness professionals, caregivers, patients. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yep. And so, we're really, really excited to be able to grow and evolve with holistic caring with the Green Nurses. We're developing some great programs for nurses across the globe because we will be a global company. Really excited. The first home health consulting agency, bringing cannabis education to people in their homes as well as virtually. So that was my big plug for holistic caring. I love you, Elizabeth Mack. Thank you so much for creating the community and for all that you do. It's really an honor to be working with you.
That's awesome.
All right. So what else we got going on this week?
Oh my gosh. Well, what do we have? You've got your Wednesday night show. What's going on Wednesday night?
Wednesday night, I have on Marcy Cooper. Okay, she's really cool. So Marcy Cooper is a nurse from out west, and she's done some really cool stuff. She's got a really cool story. She's a nurse. She works in hospice and palliative care. She's created education. And so she's going to come on and share her story of what brought her to cannabis, education, what brought her to the cannabis platform as a provider, and what she's doing in the cannabis space as she evolves with all of us,
Marcy is like a total badass. Can we just get that right out there? She's like one of the original trailblazing cannabis nurses. So this is definitely an interview that you want to make. You want to hook it up. Set that reminder on your Facebook. Set the reminder. Get your notification for that show. So what else we have going on? Friday?
All right, so here's the thing. Yeah, Frequency Friday. So every 9 a.m. we love energy. We talk about, biopsychosocial, spiritual. You think about when you have energy healing and you're bringing in information from the quantum, the information field, it filters into your mental, emotional, and physical self. So Reiki does that, Reconnective Healing does that, and this little device called Healy also does that. So every Friday, all of the Green Nurses, or in the majority of them, a lot of us that have these little devices, we gather, we play a little bit of music, we educate on this little machine, and we give you a sample of what it feels like, because resonance healing goes beyond space and time. That's the part that's so cool. If you understand quantum physics, just because you don't understand it, I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't mean that it's not real. It's very real. And so we educate on that, and you all can have a little experience. So if you even dial back to some of our past broadcasts, you'll be able to experience those frequencies as well.
Yes, you can. And so who do you have? Who's on your show tomorrow? Who's your Green Nurse co-host? What's going on? Talk to me, baby.
This is good. So I'm really, really excited. Nurse Mark's out of the country. Really excited for Nurse Mark and Jamie. They got married a year ago in August, and they weren't able to take a honeymoon. So their honeymoon is in France. And Jamie's also turning 40. So Jamie and I celebrate the same birthday. So it was a dual vacation for both of them, and they're having a blast. They're sending really fun pictures, and we'll be sharing those because it's Green Nurse on the go. They actually told me, I talked to them last night from France. They told me that they went into a CBD shop in France.
I saw the pictures. So cool.
Right? And so and they did a little video, and they're going to put that up, you know, when they get back.
How fun.
Yeah.
How
So
fun.
a little Green Nurse on the go in France, in a CBD store. And, you know, France is new to cannabinoids. So we'll get the scoop and the details.
Very interesting.
On French
So who's
cannabis.
on the show with you tomorrow? Which Green Nurse?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I get
co-hosting.
So I'm really excited to have Green Nurse Michelle Morris on.
Yes.
She is the #2 salesperson for Green Compass Global. So she's affiliated with an amazing CBD company. She's also a traditional nurse in the traditional system. And she's a green nurse with us doing consultations and working in the community. So we're going to talk tomorrow about terpenes and also dogs. So she takes care of a lot of dogs. So you think about, we talk about the endocannabinoid system and the human. Well, we're going to bring up a little bit animals, and we're going to talk about terpenes and animals tomorrow.
I love that topic.
I know it's a good one. And then I have you on Wednesday, and we've got a really good show planned for Wednesday. I'm really, really excited about that. Do you want to give them a little? You want to give them a little nug with what's it about, so we can tease them to come in.
You're going to be talking about dendrites, new neural pathways. We are going to be talking about neuroplasticity and neurogenesis, and non-pharmacological ways to boost that production, and also maybe talk a little bit about psychedelics and what they can do for neuroplasticity and neurogenesis. So did I say psychedelics? I don't know. What are we talking about?
We're talking good one. You're really good. Really good. And then 2 more awesome nurses. I've got Green Nurse Denise, who's from Winchester, Massachusetts. She is a phenomenal nurse. She is a veteran of the Air Force. Wow. And her and I we've been actually gathering together, planning Green Nurse events. So her brand is the Energized Living. She has her own brand. She does the Energized Living, which is about canna wellness and bringing in tips and tricks and hugs and nugs of different exercises that you can do daily in a short amount of time to have an energized life. So that's Denise on Thursday. And then we have Kathleen Graham on Friday. And so Kathleen, is an amazing nurse in the cannabis space as well. She's from Michigan, and we're going to be talking about hospice, palliative care, and actually sharing compelling stories of how cannabis has helped people at the end of life. So we've got a lot going on. And then what else do we got going on? What's happening Friday night? You're coming. Green Nurse on the go.
Carey Lee on the go, baby. I'm coming into Beantown, honey. I am coming into Beantown with you. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Woo! So Carey Lee visited me for the first time last summer for a week, and we did a lot. Didn't we get a lot done? It was really fun.
We had an amazing experience. Heck yeah.
And the part 2, just really quickly, just so people can understand the importance of an experience. Did you find that spending time, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but this is just for other nurses and why it's important to have an experiential learning with other cannabis nurses, right? And that's why these conferences are so important to go to, not only learning, but interacting with other cannabis nurses, other cannabis professionals, but having a retreat or having an experience. So you came to my house and I immersed you into what I did.
You thoroughly immersed me.
You know what was that like?
I mean, it was amazing. I mean, coming from, my obviously Iowa's program, where it's called the Cannabidiol program. It's not even called the cannabis program. So just being amongst society in the Massachusetts area and seeing it as a lifestyle was exciting. Like, wow, it gave me hope. It gave me hope. And then, working with you, I can study and study, about the endocannabinoid system and cannabinoid therapeutics until the sun doesn't shine. But until I'm actually on the floor, live interactions with human beings and putting what you learn, into action, I need that. I needed that. It was great. It really catapulted my confidence in terms of being a good cannabis nurse and knowing how to coach
Yeah.
patient. So I'm so grateful for that. It's very, very important to have both pieces,
Yes,
the study
both
portion of
pieces.
it and that live
Yep.
in-person piece. So that was fabulous.
Yeah, it's really good.
Awesome.
And that's it kind of mimics nursing school. If you think about it, when we're in nursing school, what do? We sit in the classroom and we learn. We get anatomy, physiology, we get research, pharmacology, all of these different topics where we're learning in a classroom. And then what
Yes.
do? We have to go and have our clinicals. So our
Yeah.
clinicals is actually stepping into an environment and working directly with patients. So taking the information that we learned in the classroom and applying it to a real life situation. Because I'll tell you what, I remember when I first started off as a regular traditional nurse, what I learned in school did not match.
It finally sunk into me what they meant by real world nursing versus textbook.
Classroom. Yeah.
And it used to
So
just
even
tick me off in nursing school. Like, what do you mean? It's hard enough to learn one way. What are you talking about? But boy, oh
right.
boy. Nope.
So you get and the reason why, and this is what's so cool, is as nurses, we're able to adapt. So it's important to get that theory. It's important to get the science. It's important to get the research. It's important to get all of that. But it's also equally important when you're working directly with patients is to be able to know how to shift, pivot, alter, change, go with the flow when you're in a direct patient interaction. Because I'm telling you, every consultation is different. There's certain information that you need to cover, but really it is about having that transpersonal nursing experience, holding their hand until they're ready to let go.
Absolutely.
All right, Carey Lee, this has been awesome.
It's been a slice. Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me. You guys
I want to
are all great.
I want to end. I always end with live your best life, but I want to end with a little poem from my angels this morning. So, we are a little woo woo, but woo woo is good for you. And so the angel message for today is be happy that you're already happy. And it is so, right? So the core, our essence is happiness. We just forget, dig deep into your heart.
Yes.
Be in the space of love and gratitude. Do the best with what you can right here, right now. And remember what it's all about. It is about living your best life and helping others do the same. Thank you guys for joining us. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Aww.